Dear ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life when we must decide. Are we going to play it safe, or are we going to believe that we were made for more? I believe today is your moment. The moment to stop shrinking your dreams to fit your fears. And start stretching your faith to match your calling. Some of you have been dreaming small because life hit hard. Some of you have dimmed your light because the world told you you were too much. But hear me today, bold dreams were never meant to fit into small lives. And bold living was never about playing it safe. It's about trusting that if God put the dream in your spirit, He's already equipped you with what you need to live it out. You weren't born to blend in, you were born to break through. You weren't created to be silent, you were created to shake the ground. Dream bold, live bold, because average is overcrowded, because fear is a liar, because your purpose is louder than your pain. 10 key points of the speech 1. Bold dreams are divine whispers. Stop muting them with fear. Your dreams aren't random. They're a signal from something greater whispering you're meant for more. But every time you let fear rewrite your future, you rob the world of your purpose. Your bold dream is not arrogance, it's alignment. Start trusting that. 2. Playing small doesn't honor your potential. Being humble doesn't mean hiding. Shrinking back doesn't make you safe, it makes you stuck. Some of you have made a habit of hiding behind "I'm not ready." But when you dream bold, you realize readiness is not a requirement, obedience is. 3. Faith is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to move anyway. Bold living doesn't mean you're never scared. It means you're not ruled by it. Step forward while your knees are shaking. Move while your voice still cracks. God doesn't call the fearless, He calls the willing. 4. The bolder the dream, the louder the resistance. Don't be surprised when hell gets louder every time heaven assigns something new to your life. Criticism increases around bold decisions, but so does clarity. The devil doesn't chase the distracted, he targets the dangerous. 5. Your comfort zone is killing your calling. Comfort convinces you to stay in the boat, calling dares you to walk on water. Every bold dream requires a step that scares you. But what scares you is what shapes you. Risk isn't rejection, it's refinement. 6. Bold people pray crazy prayers, not the soft, safe ones. I'm talking about the kind of prayer that makes people uncomfortable. God, wreck my plans if they're smaller than your will. Bold dreamers don't ask for blessings, they ask for assignments, and they move even when the map isn't clear. 7. Don't settle for applause when you were built to make an impact. Validation is a cheap drug. Bold living isn't about being seen, it's about being significant. Influence isn't measured in followers, it's measured in fruit. Bold dreams break cycles, not just records. 8. Delay is not denial, it's divine preparation. Some of you gave up on a dream just because it didn't happen on your timeline. But bold faith knows that not yet doesn't mean no. The longer the wait, the greater the weight of the glory. God is stretching you so you don't snap under success. 9. You will offend some people by living bold, and that's okay. Not everyone will clap when you step out, but their comfort should not become your calling. Bold living means you care more about obedience than opinions. Choose purpose over popularity every time. 10. Your life is the only sermon some people will ever hear. Make it bold. People are watching. Not your perfection, but your persistence. Not your talent, but your tenacity. Don't just dream bold behind closed doors, live bold out loud, because someone is waiting to believe again, and they're watching you to see if it's still possible. Would you like me to now write the SEO title, description, hashtags, keywords, timestamps, and thumbnail text for a video of this speech as well? Absolutely. Here's an *** expanded version of key point 1 ** from the speech, written in a ** powerful, emotional, and passionate tone ** in the style of Stephen Furtick, without mentioning him, without a subtitle or conclusion. Some of you are sitting on dreams that have been whispering to you since childhood, dreams you buried under the rubble of rejection, ideas you locked away because someone called them unrealistic, visions you stopped pursuing because the path got dark and the voices got louder. But let me ask you, what if the dream wasn't the problem? What if the problem was that you gave fear a louder voice than faith? Bold dreams don't come from your logic. They don't come from your comfort. They're not born in your budget or your schedule. Bold dreams are divine whispers heaven, sent hints of the glory you were created to carry. They show up inconveniently, interrupt your safe plans, and stir something deep in your soul. They pull you toward a future that looks nothing like your past, and that's why they terrify you, because they expose the gap between what you see and what you believe. But here's the truth: fear is loud, but it's not your leader. You've been taught to evaluate your potential by your limitations. But bold dreams don't ask for your resume, they ask for your asterisk, yes asterisk. They're not waiting on the perfect moment. They're waiting on your decision. And the longer you mute those whispers, the louder your regrets will become. Some of you have been trained by trauma to dream small. You've been programmed to expect disappointment. So you've settled for safety, disguised it as wisdom, and called it humility. But humility is not denying the dream, it's surrendering to the source of it. You're not honoring God by shrinking back. You're not protecting yourself by thinking small. You're imprisoning your potential when you do that. You know what's really dangerous: not failure, not rejection, not risk. What's really dangerous is living your whole life knowing there was more in you and never giving it permission to rise. That dream in your belly, that vision that won't let you sleep, that impossible thing you keep seeing in flashes every time you close your eyes. That's not an accident. That's evidence. Evidence that you were created for something beyond what's familiar. Evidence that your destiny demands courage. Evidence that the world needs what's inside you even if they don't know it yet. So don't wait until you're confident. Don't wait until you feel ready. Bold dreams don't show up with instructions. They show up with fire, and fire doesn't ask permission to burn. You can either let fear be the editor of your future, or you can let faith be the author, but you can't serve both. One will keep you hidden. The other will launch you into a life so big, so brave, so bold it'll make hell nervous every time you wake up. Absolutely. Here's the ** expanded version of key point 2 **, continuing in that same powerful, bold, emotionally stirring style like Stephen Furtick's, but without mentioning him. We live in a world that glorifies being invisible, where hiding is mistaken for humility, and shrinking yourself is applauded as being wise or safe. But I came to wake someone up. Playing small doesn't honor your potential, it insults it. There's nothing noble about staying quiet when your voice could shift the atmosphere. There's nothing spiritual about dimming your light just because others are uncomfortable with your brightness. Some of you have built your entire life around staying under the radar. You learned to play it safe. Not because you wanted to, but because life taught you it's dangerous to be seen. Maybe you stepped up once and got shut down. Maybe you trusted your gift and someone mocked it. Maybe you shared your dream and they laughed. So you made a silent vow: never again, and never again will I risk, never again will I stretch, never again will I dream too big, live too loud, speak too boldly. But let me tell you what's even more dangerous than stepping out: it's *, never stepping in *. The danger isn't exposure, the real danger is erosion. When you silence your potential long enough, it begins to die quietly. When you keep postponing purpose in the name of timing, you're actually just protecting your insecurity, not your destiny. You can't fulfill a bold calling while living a minimized life. So many people are waiting for a sign, a signal, a confirmation. But what if the sign is the ** inside of you, that restlessness you feel? That's not discontent, that's divine discomfort. That's heaven saying, there's more. And you know it. You know you've been playing below your level. You know you've been tiptoeing around your potential. You know you've built a life that looks secure on the outside but feels hollow on the inside. Let me speak directly to your spirit. God didn't form you in your mother's womb just to live on autopilot. You weren't designed for ordinary. That craving for purpose, that hunger for impact, that fire in your bones, it's not ego. It's evidence that you were called to rise, to lead, to create, to shine. And yet here you are waiting for the fear to leave, waiting for someone to validate your value, waiting for a perfect moment that's never going to come. But bold lives aren't built on perfect timing, they're built on powerful choices. And the most powerful choice you can make is to stop disqualifying yourself from what you've already been equipped for. You think playing small protects you, but it actually restricts you. It restricts your joy, your vision, your reach. It's hard to carry something divine when you keep treating yourself like you're disposable. The world doesn't need a smaller version of you. It needs the real, raw, unleashed version of who you were always meant to be. Stop hiding. Stop hesitating. Stop handing your calling over to fear like it owns it. Because the truth is, when you stand tall in who you are, you give others permission to rise too. You weren't made to shrink to fit the room. You were made to shift the room by the weight of your presence and the power of your purpose. Of course. Here's the *** expanded version of Key Point 3 ***, delivered in a bold, raw, and emotionally intense style filled with energy, faith, and conviction, just like a Stephen Furtick message, without referencing him. We've been taught to believe that being bold means being fearless, that strong people don't get scared, that courageous people never hesitate. But let me tell you the truth, that religion doesn't always preach and success stories don't always show. Fear doesn't disqualify you, staying stuck in it does. Boldness isn't about never feeling afraid. It's about refusing to let fear make your decisions. You can feel the fear and still take the step. You can hear the doubts and still speak the vision. You can sense the weight of the risk and still move forward. Fear is loud, but it's not your limit. It's just a signal that you're standing at the edge of something important. That tension you feel right before you step out, that's not weakness. That's proof you're walking into destiny territory. We've romanticized the idea of waiting until we feel ready. But let me ask you, when was the last time ready actually came knocking? Bold faith doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It creates the moment. It says, I'm scared, but I'm going anyway. It says, I don't have it all figured out, but I can't stay here. Boldness is not the absence of fear, it's the refusal to be mastered by it. Some of you have been praying for clarity. You've been begging for confidence. You've been asking God to take the fear away. But what if his answer isn't to remove the fear, it's to give you the courage to rise through it? What if God isn't trying to make you comfortable, he's trying to make you capable? Because there are some doors that won't open until you take the first step. Some miracles won't manifest until you move. Some breakthroughs won't be released until you walk by faith, not by sight. You keep waiting on peace to confirm your path, but sometimes peace comes after the obedience not before it. You're looking for a guarantee, and God's looking for trust. You want the blueprint, but God gave you a burden. You want the details, but all you've got is a direction. But isn't that what faith really is? Walking forward without the full picture, believing when it still feels broken, moving even when the fear hasn't left the room. There's a version of you on the other side of fear that you haven't even met yet. A version that's stronger, freer, more aligned with your purpose. But you'll never encounter that version while you're still negotiating with your insecurity. Fear is always going to have a voice. The question is, will it have your vote? Every legend you've ever admired once stood where you are right now, shaking knees, doubting mind, racing heart, but they chose to move anyway. And that's what separated them from the ones who stayed stuck. Not talent, not perfection, just the audacity to move forward while afraid. Your next chapter won't be written in comfort, it will be written in courage. Not because you were fearless, but because you were faithful in spite of the fear. So go ahead, move, step, speak, start, not when the fear leaves, but because your faith is louder, absolutely. Here is the ** expanded version of Key Point 4 ***, written with raw energy, bold conviction, and emotional intensity, continuing in that deep, faith-filled, purpose-driven tone. The moment you decide to dream bold, you awaken enemies you didn't even know existed. Resistance doesn't show up when you're passive. It doesn't knock when you're hiding. It only rises when you decide to rise. The bolder the dream, the louder the resistance, and that's not a coincidence. That's confirmation, the weight you feel, the pressure, the warfare that got worse the minute you said yes to your calling. That's not punishment, that's proof. You're stepping into territory that hell has kept locked down for too long. You're touching ground that fear thought it owned, and now everything around you is trembling because you're finally moving like you believe you're chosen. You thought bold living would bring applause. You thought purpose would come with peace, but instead it's brought battles, pushback, delays, distractions, discouragement, doors that slam in your face, voices that question your motives, people who once clapped for you, now distancing themselves because your growth convicts their complacency. But let me speak this over your soul. Resistance is the receipt of real progress. The enemy doesn't chase the stagnant. He's not threatened by the indifferent. But when you begin to walk like you're dangerous, when your steps echo with purpose, when your dreams start to disturb darkness, that's when hell launches a full-scale attack. You need to understand this. Opposition is not always a sign you're doing something wrong. It's often the evidence that you're doing something right. The very fact that it's getting harder might mean you're getting closer. The friction you're facing is not a or it's part of the design. You're pushing against the limits that generations before you bowed down to. You're breaking patterns that people around you got comfortable living with. You're stretching towards something heaven ordained, and hell hates that. And don't miss, this resistance doesn't always come in the form of enemies. Sometimes it shows up as exhaustion, distraction, self-doubt, overthinking, a mind that won't shut off, a schedule that keeps you busy but not fulfilled. Resistance will wear a suit and tie or sit quietly in the background of your mind whispering, "Who do you think you are to do something this bold?" But here's the thing, resistance is not a red light. It's a test. Will you still believe when it gets hard? Will you still press in when the crowd disappears? Will you still move forward when the room goes silent and you have to carry your own momentum? You don't need easier. You need endurance, because what's ahead of you is worth fighting for. Your destiny is not fragile, but your focus is. And if the enemy can't destroy you, he'll try to distract you. If he can't stop your steps, he'll mess with your stamina. But bold dreamers, real warriors, don't break. When the resistance rises, they lean in, they plant their feet. They stare the storm in the face and say, "If I'm being fought this hard, there must be something on the other side that's worth this much battle." So take heart. The resistance isn't there to destroy you, it's there to develop you. It's shaping your resilience. It's teaching you that progress doesn't come without pressure. And it's proving that you are, in fact, built for this.